Hey everybody, this is Dave out for Behind the Camera. I'm here with John Falstrom, so another of our little questions with John, discussions with John.
Oh yeah.
Discussion. We just got finished up with today was a workout Friday.
Yes, workout Friday.
Working on scale patterns and put in a lot of work. I actually ran him through the ringer because I suggested some awkward keys to work through, and so definitely that was good coming off of that. I feel pretty confident that you guys will want to check out those videos for sure. So
Definitely.
how your fingers feeling?
A little tired right now, seriously, Dave. You know what I mean? It's a good workout, actually.
That was good. I had him
workout.
run through the
different keys.
The key of F. That was one that kind of threw you for a loop with some open strings.
Dave gave me some great ideas about doing some flat keys this time, and working with flats, which we did, and worked me out a little bit, Dave.
That's good. That's good. So, as a custom, you've seen us have some other discussions before, and so I always come up with these weird things, and so I gave John a brief overview, and so we're just winging this. It's we're going to see how this discussion goes, but I wanted to talk about some of the things that to prevent us from getting bored when we play. Being able to do different things. We still have one instrument, but one of the illustrations that I wanted to use, and I hope that you guys will follow along with me, is think about just a normal deck of playing cards. It's a 52 card deck, but within this one deck of cards, we can do a lot of different things. Okay, and it's going to keep it from being bored. I mean, you could take one deck until a thing is worn out. You can have this thing for years and play a bunch of different things with it. And I think that we could do the same thing even when it comes to playing music. And I believe that this is one of the things that we can do to fend off being bored with the instrument.
Right, getting in a rut.
Yeah,
getting bored because you're in a rut.
Right. So, a lot of times when you're playing in a band, the bass player is responsible for one part. And you are pretty much, you're playing a partnership in carrying on a bass line and the rhythm with the drummer. And you're also playing kind of a part. Let's talk about the relationship between the bass and the drummer. Is like playing a partnership game in a deck of cards.
Right.
So if you're playing something like euchre,
right.
Euchre's a partnership game you can play in this deck of cards. Revolves around the one thing, but
right.
Talk about the importance. Okay, how do you build a relationship with your drummer in the band?
That's a great question. Drummers and bass, we kind of hear the same thing because. We are carrying that heavy low end backbeat beat and keeping the groove, and we play off each other. A good drummer or someone, if you play with a drummer who's creative and on the same page with you, you can have a lot of success with coming up with little accents, like little kicks there on a little part, or just anything. Maybe him going to the ride cymbal with a riff like that, he's going do 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 on it, and you're working as a team without a doubt. You're definitely working with a team, with a lot of rhythms, more like I said, beats and rhythms. You're locking in with him with his bass drum, snare drum, hi hat. He might go to his hi hat, and you might go to a different part during the song. And then when he goes to his ride cymbal, you might say in a different part, follow something with his ride cymbal. So you're kind of playing off each other. You're reacting to what you're hearing. So he's reacting to what I'm playing, and I'm reacting to what he's playing. So when you have a drummer that you're on the same page with, it's really what it's all about.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things we can talk about. Okay, so you're doing that where you've got this partnership with the drummer.
Right.
If you're playing the same style of music, you might get a little bored.
Right.
So it's okay to, let's say for example we're playing rock and roll. So just give everybody, just show a basic, rock rhythm. Usually it's in 4/4 time. You're playing something, but switch it up. Try playing a different style of music. Like what about country? A lot of times in 3/4 time.
Right. Yeah,
like classic country.
Right. That's again, switching styles of music is can be tough to get down.
But it is good to stop you from being bored. It's a different change.
Definitely, as a player, again, unless you're gung ho, you want to play blues and that's it. Well, you're gonna become awesome at blues, but again, which is good, and you're gonna play blues. If you're gonna be a rock guy, you're gonna just play rock, and a lot of guys don't care about being country, jazz, classical, theater. again, it's up to the individual what they want to do, Dave. Like I said, I didn't decide. I started with rock and roll, original rock, and then branched off. When that band broke up, I just wanted to be a full-time bass player. I don't want to go through the work. I mean, or even the emotional part of being in a all original band for years again. So I just wanted to be just a bass player who could play country, jazz, blues, rock and roll, theater.
Right.
So yeah, being versatile.
But it definitely kept you going because you're always on the go and changing stuff. So,
right, exactly.
But that's one aspect of playing that partnership, playing with the drummer. Obviously, one of the things is the timing issue. Playing with the drummers, if you play in different bands, different styles of music, you're going to have different drummers to work with. So it's going to kind of keep a little bit going.
Big
So that's one aspect. Another thing when we think about playing, with a deck of cards, there's a lot of games when you're playing where you're out for yourself. It's about you.
Right.
So if you're playing a game like hearts, you're playing poker, blackjack, all sorts of different things here. And we could liken that to music, and it's still, again, we're talking about, think of this as like your bass. Still a bass guitar.
Right.
Before, you're holding down a rhythm.
Correct.
Now let's talk about something like, okay, if you're playing in a jazz band,
right,
trading licks.
Right.
That would be like this. You're out for you have your own spotlight, but you're out for yourself.
Right.
When it comes to that time for improvisation.
Yeah,
so let's talk about that.
You got at times where you're the featured artist, you have to think of what's gonna get people's attention and respect and likability with your own parts, with just you by yourself. So again, that's something you got to create on your as work on.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just riding with a drummer or chugging behind a guitar player, hiding behind, not hiding someone, but working with as a team. Or some guys hide behind them, but you want to be able to get out there and do a solo, and when it's called upon, or if you're the leader of the band, you can do a solo for every song. It depends, where you're at in a position, but you want to be able to fly on your own, Dave, like you said, and showcase yourself, and that's a whole different ball game too within itself. It's a whole different game, like you said. It's coming up with strategies, techniques of how to do it, and you got to do it. You got to play the game. You got to play the game to see what you're good at and what you're not.
That's for sure. And I would probably say that certainly if you're in a position where you're feeling like you're stagnant, and you're playing, try talking to the people that you're playing with about having a section where you guys are trading off stuff and doing some, if you want to call it, solos.
Right.
There's not a lot of people do bass solos. I mean, there are out there, but it's something that you can integrate into your playing style. It's certainly going to give you a fresh perspective on playing because you're going to have to put in a lot more work. It's going to breathe new life into what you're playing because you're going to be doing something a little bit different.
Big time, David. Like I said, I was not starting out. Like I said, I would back away a little bit from bass solos because, like I said, it makes you really find out where you're at. And I had to work on soloing a lot to get where I thought I was comfortable with it. So yeah, you got to start.
Right.
Again, be versatile, and it's another way of playing music. Or another playing the game.
Yeah, so you got your you've got your own thing. Like you're worried about what you're going to do for your part.
Right.
You still put in the context of the band that you're still a part of it. But if we look liken it to a deck of cards, each person's out for themselves. So you've got to work on specifically your part.
Yeah, you don't want to be the weak link in a band.
Right.
Basically, you don't want to be the weak link in a band, and a band is only as good as its weak link.
Sure.
So and you definitely don't want to be the weak link.
Right.
So and if you're in a good band, you're going to just keep pushing each other, because nobody wants to let the other guy down or be known as the weak link.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, it's a great give and take.
Mm-hmm. And and then again, we go back to this card illustration, and hopefully you guys are picking up on this. But we could play solitaire games in here. We could play like Klondike, most popular solitaire game. It always comes on standard on a computer. People probably played it on their phones and everything like that, but that's strictly when you're by yourself.
Right.
Okay, and that's one of the things that some of your viewers may not know. One of your projects that you're doing right now, when you're working with the big boppers, is you're doing essentially like solitaire playing.
Yes. Yes.
So you're like doing rhythms. You're doing the
all non-traditional bass.
Yeah, it's all and so that's, you talk about a challenge, but let's talk about the playing just the bass as a solo instrument, like by yourself. Some tips, give us some demonstrations about like things that you do. Play, you can play some song or whatever, but talk about that as opposed to playing in a band, and even different from your different from practicing.
Definitely different from practicing, and again, you're playing as a soloist. You're gonna have to learn, how to play chords, strum chords properly. To add to, which is a whole different mindset of playing bass. Here's a bass. Well, a chord will just. It's a different rhythm almost. It's a different. Well, yeah, it's kind of a different rhythm. You're hearing different sounds, and it kind of takes you to a different part of your music in your mind, because you're playing different musical parts. Like the melody. I never dreamt of playing a melody in my life. I had no interest in it. Maybe I just wasn't ready for it. You know what I mean? And then again, like you said, with the big boppers, it threw me into a situation where I had to play the melody.
Right.
And that takes you to a whole different place on the bass. You're not playing nothing near a bass line. I mean, a melody is coming. It's almost counter bass line, and so your mind has to go somewhere else, and you got to develop it. And I think it's great. At first, if you're not ready for it, though, you're gonna fight it. Again, I think if you evolve to play melody, solo stuff, and chords, you're gonna either evolve to it or you're not. But hopefully you do. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I said, I play melodies all the time. I like them. I never played the melodies for years.
Right.
Definitely.
Now you sit there and
play melodies all the time.
Right. Right.
It's a whole different part of playing bass. I'm almost not even playing bass anymore. I'm playing.
You're basically a voice. You're the voice.
I'm a voice. Yeah.
You're a voice.
I'm playing strum chords, melodies. That to me, I'm not even. I'm playing a bass, but I'm not playing a bass. It's almost. I'm almost thinking of as singing it. You know what I mean? Like the vocalist.
Right. So if you're like doing like "I Am the Great Pretender" from the Drifters,
exactly.
it's almost like when you play it, it sounds just like it.
Yes.
And how many bass players are really like doing that kind of stuff, and that's definitely a challenge to stop you from being bored. Try to if you're a bass player, usually you're used to holding down the rhythm.
Correct.
Try learning the melody. It's going to be good practice for learning your notes, the notes within a key.
Yeah.
Because still you're in the song. You still have 8 notes that you're working with, but it's a different way of trying to play and mixing things up.
Big time. And you know what you learn about melodies, Dave, is when you play one, they're not as hard as you think they are. That's the amazing thing. They're actually easier than playing a bass line to a song, like The Great Pretender, like you're saying.
Yeah.
But the bass during that is going. So the bass line is, actually doing more.
Right, you're actually less busy in there. The only thing you have to do is you've got a couple embellishments there to mimic the voice.
Yeah, little slides, little different slides.
Hammer-ons,
the trill, the slur. So you're using all techniques in music.
Right.
And then it comes down. It's really neat because now it starts meshes into your sound.
Right.
If you're playing a traditional bass line,
sure.
You're playing. You're playing a little differently, but you're still going to be laying down a great heavy bass line. Or smooth jazz line or whatever.
Right.
it just helps you, Dave. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It makes you. Your goal as a bass player, I think, Dave, is to get an original sound. Your sound. Your part.
Mm-hmm.
Not. It doesn't have to be the instrument. It's almost like what you play. What you hear.
Right.
It's all instinct. You can't help what you hear. So you're going to play what you hear.
Right.
You can't help that.
Right. So, anyways, interesting discussion because, we talked about the diversity. You could do a bunch of different things with this. It's still a deck of cards. We talked about all the things you can do with the bass guitar. It's still just the bass. It's still the bass.
Right.
This never changed.
Right.
These don't ever change.
Absolutely.
But how you approach it is you can change your perspective of your playing. I think that's going to stop you from, like I said, from being bored. A lot of times you're going to be playing.
Sure.
You're going to not so much hitting, like we talked about hitting, a run and different things. We talked about inspiring places, inspirational places for practicing and stuff like that. But when we get into this, it's not. You just start playing where you just kind of feel like, yeah, man, I'm dreading going to practice.
Right.
I'm dreading this gig because I'm sick and tired
of playing the same place.
I'm sick and tired of playing the same song over and over and over again.
Right.
And sometimes, it's like, let's talk about, like, for example, let's talk about Jimmy Buffett for a second. I'm not a bass player, but Jimmy Buffett, okay, has been playing concerts for a long, long time.
Sure.
People don't want to hear his new stuff. They want to hear the old stuff. And he keeps playing it over and over and over again.
Right.
And he doesn't mind doing it, but if you have ever been to a concert, you listen to how he does stuff. There's little things that he does to change it up, does a few things different to keep it fresh, and he keeps them going.
Yeah.
A lot of it has to do with feeding off of the fans as well, and they know what he wants.
Correct.
And he's also getting paid good money to do that stuff.
Correct.
But overall, throwing those little changes in there. And so I think that, again, it's still his music.
Yes.
So it's the same thing here. Do some different things, throw some different changes.
Little things
into your,
add up.
Right.
Little things add up.
Right. So if you're not used to playing, if you're only used to playing rhythm, so you're used to playing partnership, well, try learning to do some solo stuff.
Right.
Absolutely. Gradually work some things in, even if it's for eight counts, 2 measures, or whatever. If you've got that little thing or whatever, make it your own. But it's going to give you that little thing, like you're in the spotlight.
And put it in there. Just throw it in.
Yeah, throw it in.
Throw it in. See what happens.
And then also, when you're playing and you're practicing or something, you want to do something different. Expand your musicality by learning to play as a solo player. Learn melodies and stuff like that. Yes. It's going to give you different approach. And I think that's going to be a couple ways to stave off boredom. It's going to keep you engaged in the instrument, and also the whole time you're going to continue to grow as well. So
that's the key, Dave. Like I said, everyone's going to get bored or hit a wall sometime.
Sure.
So where do you get new ideas? Well, like we just mentioned, melodies, strum chords, being a soloist, doing different styles of music. Little things. They add up to a whole new ballgame.
Heck, even if it's not in your routine, mix it up. We just did a whole mess of videos on scale patterns. You want to talk about changing it up? Do the scale patterns.
Yeah.
The shredder. Yeah. I mean, I'm sitting there watching all these patterns from behind the camera, and I'm like, man, I'm watching the finger techniques up close because I'm trying to film it all and everything. But I'm like, man, you talk about changing some stuff up. If you're not in that exercise routine, start doing that. That's going to really challenge you, because if you're not a good bass player and you start doing those things, you're going to realize at first how much work you need to put in.
Correct.
Correct. Because here's a guy who's been playing for 40 years playing the bass guitar, and even ran him through the ringer a little bit.
It did.
But it changes you up.
Yeah, I've been focusing heavily on scales, Dave, for probably close to 40 years, and and a couple of those demonstrations I haven't done, and it kind of made some scuffs there, and
which is fine.
It's fine again, it's always the shredder is if you do that, and I'll tell you what, you'll wake up real quick.
But that's a change. It's a way to stop you from being bored.
Exactly. Yeah. You're working out. That's what I like that. Working out. Get into it.
Yeah, trying to do some different things. That was kind of funny, and I'm going to throw this in there. John doesn't even know this. We were talking about filming the videos before. It's like, changing things up. It's like, John, he's like, I'm going to do the scales and fifths. And he goes, wait. No, I don't.
Right, I was going to do scales and fifths. And I'm looking at my bass, and I said, no, I'm not.
He changed it up.
That
was a different reason he changed it up, but that's okay.
No, I'm not.
No.
I don't think to be honest with you, I probably wouldn't have been able to pull it off today.
That's fine.
I guess so. I said, no, we're not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like an audible. I called an audible, and I did something else. I did scales and seconds.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Because I saw that better, and that's fine.
It's so funny.
I know. All right, scales and fifths. Not today, Dave.
Yeah, not today.
Not today.
That's all right. That's okay.
No, that's cool.
Yeah, but anyway, so I just wanted to sit down and have this discussion about diversity. all within one instrument. You can do a bunch of different things. You know, I happen to have a deck of cards that was sitting in my room, and I'm looking at this. I'm like, man, you can do a lot of different things with one deck of cards.
Right.
You could do a whole bunch of different things with one bass.
One bass guitar.
Yeah. So, anyway, so that was a good discussion that we had again today. Just hopefully you picked up a few things. We just have these discussions, and hopefully there's little bits and nuggets of information that are out there.
Yes.
Just good ways to share some thoughts and talk about things that are related to music, but in a bigger sense. So
big time.
All right, so that's it for now. We're again at the EADG 4 headquarters west
building
in an undisclosed location.
Yeah. Somewhere south suburbs of Chicago.
Yeah, well, with all the stuff that's going on in this world, I said when things go south in Chicago, I'm going here because we got our
a bunker.
We got some supplies set up here. We got plenty of music instruments. We'll be fine. Yeah, it's like we'll be singing "It's the End of the World" as we know it, and I feel fine.
Yeah, we'll be fine down here. We're deep underground
So anyway, so just a good session where I wanted to pick John's brain, also share some thoughts with you guys, and just have another one of our conversations. And so we thank you for joining us. If you guys have any comments, questions, or anything like that,
contact me.
Contact John. Put it in the comments in the video section. In the video section below.
Or go to my website and contact me.
Hey, go to your website. Contact John.
There's a contact link on my website. Just ask me a question.
Sure.
I'll answer it. Trust me.
Right.
I will definitely answer it. This is what I do 24/7. And if you just go to my website, eadg4.com. Contact me, ask me a question, anything. I don't care. I'll answer it.
Yeah.
Seriously.
And the other thing too is to share with everybody, in the comments, some of the things that you guys do to diversify your playing and keep you guys engaged and stave off some boredom. Because maybe you guys got some ideas that we don't have, but share it with some of the other viewers out there, and let's work on building the community of musicians too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
All right. So, all right, that's it for now, and we'll see you again next time. Take care.
See you guys.
All right, bye-bye.